thank you for joining us. We're with SKC-West and we specialize in industrial hygiene sampling along with noise monitoring, gas detection, and real-time direct-to-read particulate monitoring. I'm Andy Carroll, Key Accounts Executive in Technical Sales.
And I'm John Santa, Service Technician. If we can help you out on any of your equipment needs, please find us online at skcwest.com or give us a call at 1-800-SKC-West.
The HAZ-DUST model HD-1620 is a real-time respiratory air monitoring equipment. It's designed to be taken out of the case with a gloved hand, easy to use, one-button operation. To turn on, press this power button at the top. When it turns on, you'll see the splash screen, and that will give you the serial number, the runtime hours, the battery, the model, and the last time it was calibrated. Once the splash screen goes away, you enter into the home screen, and that gives you your time, your date, your battery status, your run title, which is the name of a data set, your particle size, alarms, log rate. To start sampling, you can start either one of two ways. You can press play here or press play here. Once you press play, there's a countdown from 60 seconds to 0, and as it's counting down, it's checking the internal particulate calibration, the flow calibration, and the zero baseline. The concentration, which in this case is micrograms per cubic meter, will stay at 0 until the instrument is done counting down. Once the instrument has stopped the internal health verification, it will automatically start sampling. When it starts sampling, you will see the concentration in big numbers right here. Up here, you will have the AQI for PM 2.5. Down here, you'll have the temperature, the relative humidity, barometric pressure, or you can press view, and this is view 2, and this has almost all the same information, except you have your real-time rolling graph right here. To stop sampling, you just press this button right here in the middle, and it will ask you if you want to confirm end of run, and you simply press the green check. Next, before you start sampling, you want to make sure that your date and time is correct. If you do need to change date and time, you can go into the settings menu right here, this little gear icon, and you scroll down. Can't see what I'm doing here. And we have date, and you simply press the plus or minus for the date, and when you're done, you press the green confirmation. And the same with the time, you just press plus or minus and the green confirmation, and now you have set your day and time. When you stop sampling, you'll be in the statistics screen, and I can go over this in a little bit more detail a little later on. To get back to the home screen, you press this back arrow, and now you're at the home screen. You can see right here it says PM 2.5. The instrument ships complete with a PM 2.5 impactor, but you may have other impactors, PM 10, a PM 1. We have a variety of other impactors. To change the impactor, and you'll see right here there's a little tab that tells you what's in there, but to change the impactor, you lift this little pin right here, and you move this swivel over, and you remove the impactor sleeve. When you take the impactor out of the impactor sleeve, don't grip by the tab, because you can actually snap the tab off. Just pull the impactor away from the impactor sleeve. And here, you can kind of wiggle the impactor from the disc. And you'll see at the bottom of this disc, it looks a little wet. Essentially what that is impactor grease. Over time, when you use the instrument in dusty environments, you might see a little mound of dust right here, and that would be a good indication to clean your impactor disc and reapply new impactor grease. You don't need a lot of grease, you just need a little bit on the finger and smear it down in there. And basically what that does is if you're using, say, this impactor, PM2.5, that allows a PM2.5 micron size dust and smaller to enter into the sensor and be read by the instrument. Anything larger than PM2.5 would get stuck on that impactor grease. Underneath this tab, you'll see there's two chips. This is a little mini circuit board. So the instrument will be able to read whatever impactor you have on there. So if you had a PM10, it would pick up PM10 and it would say it right here. There's a little cutout groove on the impactor sleeve, and you just fit the impactor right into, and put that tab right into the groove, and you put that right back there and move the swivel over. Besides changing your impactor, other things that you might want to do prior to sampling would be maybe you want to name your data set or your run title. When you turn the instrument on, the run title is year, month, and day, and the numbers after it, that 001, is the amount of times that the instrument has run under that run title. So if I were to start and stop this instrument, now you see it's 002. I've run the instrument 2 times under that data set. You can change the run title. You can name it after the person that's sampling. You can name it a location. You can name it anything that will really help you remember your data set and your sample. So I'm going to name this East Fire. Anytime you make a selection, you have to press the green confirmation. If you don't press that check mark, your selection won't be saved, and this helps protect against accidental touches as well. So now we have East Fire, we have your PM2.5. If I were to go in here, this is your aerosol profile. So I have the PM2.5 that's pre-selected from this impactor. Over here I have units, and I can select milligrams or micrograms per cubic meter. So I'm going to keep it at micrograms. I have a cal factor here where I can create cross calibrations. And then down here I have alarms. So if I were to change this sealing alarm to 1 microgram per cubic meter and press play, it's now red. There's a red around here. The number's red. It's flashing red. I have met or exceeded my sealing alarm. If I go back to the home screen and I press this button and I turn that on, I'm turning on the sealing alarm. Now it's making an audible noise, and you have to take a precaution. That precaution could be in any sort of engineering control, so it could be wearing a mask, stopping work, whatever the protocol is for your specific work task or company. When I go back to the home screen, if I were to deselect this, it's not going to turn the alarm off. It's only going to turn the audible off. So if I were to press play, we're still red, it's just not beeping. To fully turn the alarm off, I go back into the aerosol profile and I set the sealing alarm back to 0. Down here, I have particles for centimeter cubed. This instrument reads in mass concentration, so usually it will read in milligrams or micrograms per cubic meter. However, there is a selection here for a particle count. And what this is doing is this is counting the number of particles for this PM 2.5. This is an algorithm in here. So if I were to press play here, now I'm reading particles per centimeter cubed. When this is selected, it won't read the air quality index. The air quality index is only read with PM 2.5 and mass concentration. Down here we have log rate. So 1 second will give you 12 hours, and that 12 hours means 12 hours of memory. And it goes up to 60 seconds, which gives you 15 days. When it leaves from the factory, it's always at 4 seconds. We find that if it's at 60 seconds, you might miss a lot of peaks and valleys in your data. And if you're at 1 second, you certainly see all the peaks and valleys, but it is a lot of data. So 4 seconds seems like a good happy medium, and that will give you 25 hours of runtime. When your memory is full, you have an option here to preserve or overwrite a log. If you preserve a log, you have to manually do something to free up space. So you can delete data, you can upload data. Overwriting a log will overwrite previous data sets and allow for more space. Here is the pump flow. If you notice that this is just the target, I can press this up and down, and that number does not change. The target is 1.5 liters per minute, and that is for use of these impactors. In order to verify your flow, you would attach the SKC checkmate, and you would verify your flow with that. You can see the instruction manual for more detailed instructions. Other settings that may be of use might be the AQI. So this is the EPA Air Now Air Quality Index for PM 2.5. This is where you can enable or disable the AQI. The About screen gives you a lot of useful information that you saw on the splash screen. It gives you the serial number, the firmware, the operating hours. So this will tell you how long the instrument has run over the course of its life, battery, model, and last calibration. The maintenance screen, this is user maintenance. It's different than factory maintenance. But this user maintenance screen tells you the last time the user maintained this instrument. So what that could be is maybe changing some internal filters, maybe checking the impactor grease. And this will give you the runtime since your last user maintenance and the runtime that you have remaining. You can go in and edit this and it will reset. And it gives you a little warning to make sure that you know what you're doing, and you press that green confirmation, and now you've reset your user maintenance. When it's reset, it'll always reset back to 500 hours until your next scheduled maintenance. Other settings, we have delayed start. You can enable or disable the delayed start, and this is if you wanted to pre-program the instrument to start at a specific time. So you would press start and you would put in when you wanted to start and how many hours, how many minutes, and it would give you a countdown of the duration until the instrument starts. So when the instrument is playing and you want to stop to do an auto purge, you simply press and hold this button and you'll get a message that appears and it says continue to hold for 3 seconds. And now you see it's counting down again, and the number is at 0. So the number will always be held at 0 while it's doing a countdown. So right now it's doing the auto purge, and when it is done, it should start sampling. All right, I had mentioned the AQI earlier, and you'll see this air quality index here. The air quality index, as I mentioned, is the EPA Air Now Air Quality Index for PM 2.5. And that air quality index is color coded. As you can see right now, it says good, and it says 0. It is on an average, so when you first turn the instrument on, it will read 0 until there's enough data to actually register a number. But it's color coded, and it goes from green to purple. And green is good, then there's yellow for moderate, orange is unhealthy, red is very unhealthy, and purple is hazardous. And those numbers actually correspond to a concentration of micrograms per cubic meter. So for example, your green, which the air quality index will read 0 to 50, that actually correlates to a concentration of 0 to 12 micrograms per cubic meter. If we were to choose the most hazardous, which would register as purple, and the air quality index would register between 301 and 500, and that correlates to a concentration of 250.5 to 504 micrograms per cubic meter. So if you have a gloved hand, it might be a little complicated to press the touch screen, but you can use this big button for a one-button operation. So you can press this and it will start playing. You can also press that again if you want to stop your sample. Also under the settings screen, we have data deletion. This will delete all previous data sets. System formats. You can choose 24-hour or 12-hour time formats. Multiple date formats. You have month, day, year, year, month, day, day, month, year, barometric pressure, temperature. Whenever the sample has stopped, you end up on the statistics screen. And this gives you all the information for your sample run. So we have our run title, we have the day, the start time, the duration of the sample, the particle size, the total sample volume, your min, your max, your ceiling alarms, Stell alarm, then we have barometric pressure, temperature, humidity, log rate, and then the other thing we have here is these little arrows, these left or right arrows, and this will cycle through previous data sets. So I can keep going and you see this number is going down, so 7, 6, 5, 4. And then here we get to 2 and you see that this turned red. So on our third data set it's gray, on our second data set it's red. And it's saying that there's one event. If I press this, it's telling me what the event was. The event is usually something that is considered an undesirable thing. Maybe the battery is dying, a memory is full, a pump fault. In this case, it was a ceiling alarm was exceeded. So this is a good indication that if you have an event on your statistics screen, you might want to put some notes into your data set when you upload your data. You can also get to that screen by the gear settings and looking at data view. Also under the settings, which again is this gear icon, if I go here and I scroll down, this is where I will upload data. So it says data upload all, and you would remove the micro USB that came with your instrument. You would remove this little dust cover here. You would plug the USB into the side of the instrument and you would upload. For full instructions on how to use the software, you can see the instruction manual or contact your local salesperson.